Hi everyone, welcome to my chess rating climb where I play a game of chess and track my improvement. Right now, I'm sitting at 1510, which is just shy of my personal best of 1513. So, if we manage to win today's game, that'll put me at a new peak. Let's see if we can get it. Alright, let's start a 15-minute game. And we have the black pieces. Okay, so against d4, we just play the queen's pawn opening. Okay, so it looks like we might have a London system or maybe a Queen's Gambit, but let's go ahead and develop the knight. Okay, yeah, so it is a London. Against the London, I like to fianchetto my dark squared bishop with ideas of attacking this bishop with my knight here. Okay, so the question is, do I develop my light squared bishop or my dark squared bishop first? I think I can probably go ahead and develop my light squared bishop. Get it on this nice juicy diagonal here. So he attacks my bishop. I don't think I want to trade my bishop here, so I think I need to slide it back. Yeah, I'm actually going to put it on e6. I was considering e4, but then my bishop gets trapped. Or not necessarily trapped, because I could just slide it back to f5, in which case it would be an even exchange, but that would double my pawns here. So yeah, e6 is the way. Worth noting, if white's not careful, there are forking ideas later. So I will need to look out for that. Oh, well, that's disappointing. My opponent apparently disconnected. If they end up disconnecting, yeah, I'll definitely play a second game. But, yeah, that is really weird. Well, I didn't necessarily want to reach my peak rating this way. But, I mean, I guess I'll take what I can get. Okay, so my opponent did apparently disconnect. I do want to really quickly review those few moves, though, because that knight move that my opponent made was a little bit unconventional. Let's see here. Okay, yeah, so this is all book. Okay, so that actually wasn't the best move here. Okay, yeah, just wanted me to go ahead and push that pawn with ideas to recapture it with the bishop. And then yeah, here I was supposed to threaten the queen. And if he blocked with the bishop, yeah, then it's just taken. It's an even exchange. Okay, all right, fair enough. Well, kind of anticlimactic, but that does put me at a peak rating. Let's go ahead and hop into another game. Okay, so this will be the first game at the peak rating. I'm at 1521 now, and we have the white pieces. Okay, so we're going into a French. Against a French, I can just play knight c3. Interesting. Okay, I'm not sure I've ever seen c6 on turn 2 with the French. So, it looks like we might just transpose into a Caro-Kann if they push d5 on the next turn. I think I can just take the center here with d4. And that way, if they push d5, it will just be a transposition of a Caro-Kann. What in the world? Okay, that seems like a wasted move. They just spent 2 moves pushing that c-pawn. Okay, yeah, that's really unconventional. I mean, is there any reason that I can't just develop my bishop to protect my pawn? There's no way that's a good move. There's no way that's a good move, because black's not developing their pieces. Okay, so how can I best punish that? I mean, surely I just develop my bishop and threaten to take the pawn and win the pawn in the exchange. Yeah, we'll do that. Okay, so I saw that coming, but the question is now, do I take back with the queen or the bishop? I think I take back with the queen, because that'll allow me to castle and create a battery with the rook and the queen along the d file. Yeah, that looks really good. Okay, so now all I have to do is drop my queen back and then maintain the battery after I castle. What are they doing with all these superfluous pawn moves? There's no way that's good. There's no way that's good. Are they just trying to, like, throw me off or something with an unconventional opening? They've done that twice, where they push the same pawn twice in a row. I mean, is there any reason that I don't just castle here? Yeah, I think I just need to castle, and then I think I'll probably push f4 on the next turn, just to open up lines to the king before they've castled. Yeah, and after I play f4, I'd like to, if they take my pawn, I'll take back with the bishop, and then I'm threatening these forking ideas on the weak c7 square. So yeah, I really like that. Like, I really just want to open up the position, since my opponent is so behind in development. Doesn't surprise me. So, he's threatening to win my e-pawn, right? He's threatening to win my e-pawn because if he takes my knight, I take back with the queen, he takes my pawn. Is that much of a threat? Yeah, unfortunately, I do think I need to respond to this. So, let's go ahead and develop my bishop to protect that pawn, to disallow him from pressuring this knight any further. Okay, so I'm considering taking his e-pawn. He takes back with the knight. I wouldn't really mind a trade of this knight with my bishop, since this bishop is kind of getting in the way of my queen anyway. Yeah, I'm not seeing a tactic to win any material, so I think at this point I just develop my pieces further. Okay, so is it knight f3 or knight e2? Yeah, I think I go knight f3 to put some more pressure on this weak pawn here, because I'm sort of incentivizing him to take it, right? Okay, so now he's obviously threatening to double my pawns here, but I don't necessarily mind doubling my pawns in front of the king if he trades queens while doing so, because he has just dropped a pawn here. Well, actually, no, let's think about this. If I take this pawn, whether with my pawn or my knight, he can win a pawn back by taking my queen, or excuse me, taking my knight, I take back with the queen, then he uses his queen to take my a pawn. So before I do that, I need to kick his bishop first. Really? Yeah, that doesn't make a lot of sense. Okay. I mean, if I take his bishop, what checks does he have with the queen? Let's see. Take, king's in check. I slide the king over. Let's see, does he have perpetual? I think he actually does have perpetual if he is so inclined to. Oh man, this might actually be a drawn game if I take that bishop. Yeah, if I take the bishop, he's got perpetual. Do I want to settle for a draw? That's the question. I think I have to take the bishop, because if I don't take the bishop, he's in a winning position. Yeah, so unfortunately, I actually do think I need to settle for a draw if my opponent does indeed decide to go for perpetual. Yeah, I think my opponent's realizing the same thing that I was. I think my opponent is considering drawing the game right now. He's considering whether he wants to play for a draw or a win. Because, I mean, I don't think he has enough pieces into the attack. He could move his knight in, right? But if he moves his knight, then I just offer a queen trade, and if he continues delivering any more checks with the queen, then I just block. So I don't think that works. Like, my opponent is not playing for a win right now. My opponent is playing for a draw. Okay, so I predicted that, but now I just offer a queen trade. I just offer a queen trade, and he doesn't have any more checks with the queen, right? I mean, he doesn't have any more checks with the queen that don't immediately lose the queen. My bishop is protected, both by my pawn and my rook, right? He doesn't have any kind of tactic to win my knight, because, like, let's say I offer the queen trade, right? He can't actually take my bishop because his queen would hang, so he would have to either accept the queen trade or move his queen out of the way. And in both scenarios, that's good for me. Worth noting that the knight on c3 is guarding the mating square. So yeah, he doesn't have enough pieces into the attack. Okay. So he accepted the trade. Now the question is, which piece do I take back with? I think I take back with the king. Reason being, I want to move my king up this way to bring my rook to the open file. So yeah, we're taking back with the king. And now that I'm up a piece in exchange for 2 pawns, I'm more than happy if he takes my bishop with a knight and simplifies the position. If he does take my bishop, I would need to take back with the pawn to maintain guard of my e-pawn. Okay, so his e-pawn is hanging. Is there any reason that I wouldn't just go ahead and take that? I don't think so. And the question is, do I take that with the pawn or the knight? I think I probably take it with the pawn, just because I think my knight is a little bit safer on the square and it also forces his knight to move. Yeah, let's go ahead and take it with the pawn here. Okay. So at this point, you know what I need to do? I can force some more trades by moving my bishop to c5, forking his rook and his knight. Actually, no, because my bishop is actually maintaining control of this forking square. So what I need to do first is just to slide my rook over to protect the bishop and then kick this knight out. Yeah, that's what I need to do. Okay, so we're going to slide this rook over, maintain protection of the bishop. Then if he doesn't take the bishop, we'll kick the knight out. And if he does take the bishop, then we'll obviously just capture back. I do need to be wary of this passed pawn here that's protected by the rook, but I'm not actually too concerned about that because I'll be able to slide my king over and then get my rook in front of the passed pawn. So that's not really that big a deal. Okay, so he does go ahead and take it. I don't think my opponent really thought through the consequences of sacrificing his bishop. So now, it's definitely time to slide my king up and then bring my rook over. Bring my rook over this way. That doesn't surprise me at all. So now all I have to do is slide my rook here. Yep, doesn't surprise me. Okay. So now, I don't need to worry about this pawn because it's protected by my knight. Is there any reason that I wouldn't just offer a knight trade? I don't think so, because the thing is, offering this knight trade, it actually kind of forces the knight trade, because if he doesn't accept the knight trade, then I fork his rooks, right? So knight d5 actually kind of forces his hand and encourages further simplification, allowing me to snatch up this weak a-pawn here. Yep. And now I've undoubled my pawns. I'm up a piece. In exchange for a pawn, I'm looking good. Yeah, I think it's really obvious that my opponent just didn't think through that sacrifice. Okay, so he plays d6, but doesn't that just drop a pawn? I mean, I think my opponent's kind of in desperation mode right now, because it's not as if my e-pawn is pinned to my rook, right? Like, my rook is defended by my king, so, I mean, I don't see any reason why I wouldn't just take this. Okay. So how do I handle this now? Okay, so here's the deal. If I move my knight to e5, threaten his bishop either has to move somewhere, in which case I can continue pushing my passed pawn, or he has to defend his bishop with his rook, which will allow me to take, and after he takes back, he relinquishes control of his a-pawn. So yeah, I don't see any reason why I wouldn't do that. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I didn't consider what would happen if he pinned my knight, but I don't think that's anything to worry about. I mean, I can just move my king to alleviate the pin. So the question is, obviously I would need to move my king either to f4 or d4 to maintain defense of the knight. Which square do I want to move my king to, is the question. Oh, okay, I definitely need to move my king to d4. Yeah, king f4 would actually be a blunder, because he could meet king f4 with g5, deflecting my king away from the defense of the knight. Yeah, so king d4 is best. Yeah, unless I make just some huge mistake, I don't really see how my opponent gets out of this. Because he has to save his bishop, or protect his bishop, at which point I gobble up his a-pawn, and then his b-pawn is loose, and after I take his a and b pawns, I have not one, not two, but 3 passed pawns that he's just not going to be able to stop. Okay, good. So my opponent resigns. Alright, so where does that put my rating now, actually? Okay, that puts me at 1532. That is a new peak, which, I mean, technically we also got a new peak in the previous game, but I didn't really want to count that just because my opponent abandoned so early. But yeah, this is the highest I've ever been, so let's go ahead and review this game. Okay, so what happened here? Alright, so my opponent actually messed up by quite a bit in the mid game, but then I gave the advantage back. Or I didn't give the advantage back, but I made it an equal game because my opponent made a mistake that I apparently failed to punish. But then my opponent made another mistake, and then I held onto the advantage for the rest of the time. Okay. So I'm guessing that was the bishop sacrifice, but we'll see. Okay. So yeah, I had never seen c6 on turn 2 in the French before. And apparently it's not even a book move, right? The coach just says that's playable. So, yeah, it seems like my opponent didn't really know French theory. Like maybe they were just trying out a new opening just to see what it would do. I don't know. Yeah, that was really weird. So, taking the center is good. Okay, and taking back with the queen was best, even though it wins a tempo. Okay, then we castle, that's fine. Okay, so, alright, I was considering this, even though I didn't actually say it in the game. Let's see, let's go to analysis. If I move my queen to d3, okay, so that does alleviate the pin on my knight, and also protects my pawn a second time. But then what happens if he takes my bishop? Then I have to take back with the pawn? No, that's an inaccuracy. I take back here. Now, why is white advantaged? Okay, hang on a second. Okay, I just realized I need to turn on suggestion arrows, but okay, so if I take back with the queen, why can't he take the pawn here? Okay, so then I move my queen up, move his knight back, take this pawn, he takes here, slide over, prevents him from castling. Now what in the world? Okay, yeah, this is some kind of crazy stockfish line. I would never have seen this bishop move. Okay, that's obviously brilliant, but I don't see why. Why can't he just take my queen here? Okay, check. Oh, because we win the queen back. Okay, fair enough. Okay, yeah, so I was obviously over-prioritizing the defense of the e-pawn, but, I mean, the computer just recognized that I can drop this e-pawn, and I would be able to mount an attack, right? Because black is so underdeveloped, the computer is prioritizing just rapid development and attacking the king over material advantage. But yeah, I would not have seen that, ever. Okay, but that's not what happened. Okay, defend the pawn. Okay, so that's an inaccuracy. But why is it an inaccuracy? Doesn't that just lose a pawn? Okay, so if I take here, he takes back, I take, he takes here. Okay, so so if I take here, what happens if he takes my knight first? Okay, I take with the queen. Then why can't he take this pawn? Okay, the computer is calling that an inaccuracy as well, but I don't know, it seems like my king... I mean, I guess if he does deliver a check, I can just march my king over this way. Yeah, and he doesn't really have enough pieces into the attack. Yeah, I think sometimes I think too materialistically, right? Like, I over-prioritize maintaining all of my material advantage, even at the expense of attacking chances. So, I think as I continue to improve, I'll need to change my mindset. Okay. But he took the bishop, and that was a mistake. And if I take back, he takes here. And it says this is not drawn, right? So let's see. I mean, doesn't he have perpetual? Like, if he wants perpetual, he has it, right? Oh, no, it's not, because I don't have to just shuffle my king back and forth. I can block with the knight. Okay, and it's not like he can put more pressure on the pin piece. by moving his knight here, that would be a blunder because I can just snap it off with the queen. Okay. Okay, yeah, I failed to realize that I could block with the knight. I was under the impression that he had perpetual because I would just move my king back and forth. Okay. So offering the queen trade is a miss. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so it just wanted me to take the pawn here. And then move the knight. Okay, fair enough. Okay. Oh man, such a dynamic position. Okay, so here's the thing. I actually don't think that's a miss as far as like human players are concerned. I think when you're up material, there's nothing wrong with offering the queen trade if your opponent is not actually mounting an attack on you. Because like after I make this queen move, white... Oh, well, I was about to say white's still advantaged. Oh, what am I doing? That literally just drops a knight. How did I not see that? How in the world did I not see that knight was hanging? Oh man, that's embarrassing. That's so embarrassing. That just makes the game even again. Like the game is literally dead even because I just hung my knight. I cannot believe I missed that. And then my opponent just gave me the advantage back because he also missed that the knight was hanging. Oh man, how embarrassing. Like, I'm a 1500 player. We're not supposed to do that. Yuck. Okay. Well, moving on. Yeah, so after I maintain my material advantage, I mean, I don't think there's anything else to really analyze in this game. Yeah, just it's a matter of just maintaining my piece advantage, but oh boy. Yeah, if I'm going to continue to climb the rating ladder, I'm going to have to stop doing that. Right? It's just something about my board vision. Sometimes I'm just blind to those things. I don't know. Yeah, I think that was a really sloppy game on both of our parts, if I'm being perfectly honest. But nevertheless, that does put us at a new peak rating, and we'll just have to continue trying to improve without blundering. All right, see you in tomorrow's game. Bye, y'all.